Cast the Craze is partnered with NSC Roadshow. NSCLiveTV.com and Inc. Marketing are proud to present the NSC Roadshow podcast tour. As a creator, come to be treated like a rock star as we take you on a tour with podcasters from around the world. Got a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or a project you would like to tell thousands about? Come and get on the tour. Are you a podcaster that would like more creators on your show? Come become a tour stop on the tour. What's up, George? What's going on the House of Craze today?
On the House of Craze, we are coming live, and we're going to have creator W.R. Peden, and he's the creator of Heel Turn #1. So check that out coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independence all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Cast the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Santa. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Craze Man Vera, and I am with
George the Dreamer. Medina, what's happening? Woo.
Nice and loud. Can you heard it?
No.
No.
I didn't hear it. I kind of heard it, but I didn't hear it.
You hear me?
You heard?
Yes.
What's going on, Sam?
Another day, another dollar.
Let's say another dollar.
Yes.
Hey, man, it was a good weekend. We had an excellent weekend. We are fresh from ZoloCon. Big shout out to everybody who was out there, the promoters of ZoloCon. Great show.
ZoloCon was a happy accident. What's up, Creators Outlet? Yes, ZoloCon was. It's funny because I rolled the dice on ZoloCon. Never heard of it. I wanted to do Terrificon, but it was not in my budget because I'm a brokepreneur. And so I was like, I need to do a show. And I saw the ZoloCon. I was like, all right. I looked on a YouTube channel. I saw a video of the show. I knew it was primarily for collectors of toys and limited edition action figures and retro 80s vintage stuff. But I said, let me just go anyway because they have artists. So it was the best decision I've made because it was a fun event. A fun event.
The funny thing is when you describe it that way, it has all the makings of a fail, right? Like the ultimate fail. You're talking about collector, it's all action figures, collectibles, and all that other stuff. Is like, is there any space for, comic book creators? And there was. And walking around and just talking to some of the guys who have done the shows for a few years, they say it's great every year.
Yes.
So that was cool, man. It was a fun. It was nice. It was almost like being back. It took me back to 10, 12 years ago when we were doing the conventions. 15 years ago, whatever old it was. Doing the conventions and just having a good time with my buddies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was also a pleasant surprise. You guys showing up. I got to meet J.M. DeSantis.
Yes.
And got to meet him and met some really cool creators over there. Toy makers, fantasy artists, painters. And we met some really cool fans.
Yeah.
So I just want to say a big up to Santos. He I called him Carlito Brigante from Carlito's Way, and him and his brother really cool. His brother's a sculptor. They supported us at the show. Really cool stuff. I mean, we really made some really cool connections there.
Nice connections. Nice connections. Yeah. No, yeah, we were sitting next to musculoids. Musculoids. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. They create these action figures, like Diesel, big rock Diesel, muscles amongst muscles, toys. They were selling
Talk
those.
about me again.
And Mark Rivera is the name of the gentleman who we meet. If you guys want to follow him, he's on Instagram at Mark Star Media. He is the sculptor that Santos, aka Carlito's brother.
Carlito.
Yeah, they were very nice. J.M. DeSantis, yes, he came through. We surprised the guys. They didn't know we were coming. And we just dropped in and just dropped the bomb. Myself, Anibal, and J.M. drove out there, and it was a good time. Big shout out to J.M. DeSantis, Darkfire Press. Check them out. If you don't already follow them on Instagram, Darkfire Press.
Yeah.
And go to the website.
Yeah, and look for the vlog, the road to ZoloCon, coming out soon. I'm still editing the videos. We had some really cool footage. We stood at the Roach Motel. That was an experience as well.
We'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
on the live show.
yes. Creators Outlet says Crazy's action figures. Only, from your mouth, man. From your mouth. One can only wish. But that's not the next. That's not the last stop. The next stop is EternalCon. So that one is coming up, EternalCon, and so John and I are heading over there, and I will potentially be on a panel. So I just got hit up by Ari, and they're working on a panel, so we'll see what happens. And he asked if I can be part of this creating characters panel and do some illustrations. So I said, of course. You don't have to ask me twice. I'm like a whore. I'm gonna pimp myself out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a pimp and a whore of myself. I said, hey, go get that money. I'm gonna go out there. It's like I'm collecting.
Big shout out to Ari Rubin from the comic book school. That's who Sam's talking about. Ari Rubin for the comic book school. They are putting together nothing's set in stone yet, but they're putting together a panel at
nothing's set in stone, but they're working on it. They'll give me the details, and if that's the case, it'll be on Sunday. So, cross your fingers. That'll be a good way to end my East Coast adventures before I move to Texas. So that's gonna be pretty dope. So not only that, but we also have our August 4th live show. Is the countdown to 300? That'll be our 300th episode. No, pimping ain't easy. Pimping ain't easy. Yes, so countdown to 300. Episode 300 will be live August 4th, so join us for a 300 episode extravaganza. And if we can get 30 people in the chat, we will raffle off 3 amazing prizes, but it's got to be 333, so 333. So 300 episodes, 30 people in the chat, 3 raffles, 3 winners. That's going to be dope. So,
that's going to be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, the 300th episode is already here. Jeez.
Yes. And then let's get some indie news real quick. In other news, George, tell them about Ambient Con.
Yes. Ambient Con is coming. Ambient Con, the convention for creatives. That one is coming. It will be on August 28th and 29th. It is going to be a virtual show, so it's not going to be at any location other than your home in your computer. So make sure you get tickets for the show. Now, the tickets are free. You do get free tickets, and those free tickets will give you a digital access badge, digital swag bag, access to the panels, contests, and tournaments. However, if you want to upgrade and you want to get some VIP tickets, you can. VIP tickets are going for $25. You get a digital ticket, digital ambient crate that will include a whole bunch of cool stuff like digital comics, wallpapers, and special offers from the exhibitors that will be at the show. It's a $100 value. You get 1 entry in VIP raffles, so there are going to be raffles, and you're also going to get access to VIP events. That's all for $25. For $50, you get the VIP Max. Now, this one, the Max it gives you a physical ambient crate, so you get physical comics and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Over $100.
Let's get physical.
Plus, you get 5 entries worth of raffles, so you get 5 chances to win raffles.
Cinco.
Now, that stuff is, like I said, $25 and $50. But we are hooking you guys up.
Whoa.
And if you at the checkout put our code, our promo code,
which is right on the screen right now,
CDC321, pop that bad boy in there and you get 10% off.
The CDC 4321.
That's right.
When I'm on the mic, all you suckers run.
Ooh, okay. Freestyling, profiling. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, so
Making all the little girlies smiling. So
August 28th and 29th. So Indian
yes,
Con, August 28th and 29th. Check that out.
yes,
And we're gonna be doing a panel at the show as well. So check us out
yes,
on the con. It's gonna be cool, man.
yes.
That August is happening, man.
That'll
There's a
be
lot of
that'll
stuff
be
going on
three
in August.
panels this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
it was
That's right.
PalCon and Eternal Con and Indian Con. Do
Yeah,
you
man.
want to be a comic too?
Day is happening.
Yes.
So yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yes.
Looking forward to everything that's going on in August. It's right around the corner. Can't believe it's already right around the corner. We are recording shows for the August shows. So yeah, check those out. They're coming out soon.
Yes, but we can't leave it there. We also have something going on right now. What is that, Georgie Porgy? Put a
Oh,
pie.
right now, don't forget, you got to get on that Kickstarter game. We have a Kickstarter today that we're promoting, but we are going to be, we have Forbidden on Kickstarter right now.
Yes.
So make sure you hit the link and pledge right now. Right now. Go on there,
Yes.
pledge right now to Forbidden. We have, 18 days left?
16 days. 16
days
days
left.
left and counting. So I think after 8 p.m. tonight, it'll be 15 days. So 15 days. That's 2 weeks left of Forbidden. If you have been waiting, not sure what you're waiting for, but if you're at the bus stop, I am the bus driver and I'm pulling up and you stop. Put the fare in and get on the ride. Get on the adventure of your life. Forbidden. It is the epic fantasy adventure you have been waiting for. It stands the test of time. We launched Forbidden back in 2006 to a fanfare frenzy, and then Sam disappeared for 10 years. No one knew where he was. He was in a cell in Pakistan. No one could find him. Then Sam comes back, and we bring back Forbidden, and he brings it back with the crew. You got Anibal the Animal Royals as the illustrator of issues 1 and 2. You got George the Dreamer Medina as the letterer. You have Sam the Crazy Man Verard as the creator and cover artist, variant cover artist. You have Barbara killing it with the colors. Then you have guest artists, David the Wolf Keyless. Then you have Primi Santra, who did issues 3 through 6. And then you have fantastic fantasy gaming cover artist Eric Ifata, who did the cover for the graphic novel once it's all collected. So here's your chance to be part of something big. Please pledge to Forbidden. It is amazing. Even Ernie Hudson loved Forbidden. So we met him at we met him at Pittsburgh Comic Con. We had breakfast with him, and then he loved the concept and he wanted to buy the book. And so I said, no, take a photo with me and the boys and I'll give it to you free. He says, will you sign it? I was like, what? So Ernie, if you still have that, that's a collector's edition, buddy. And I'm hoping to run into you again. I hope you remember that story, Ernie, because I do. I got the picture too. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, so Forbidden is on right now on Kickstarter, guys. Make sure you get over there and pledge. We have, like Sammy said, 16 days left. By the end of this show, we'll have 15. And the time is going, man. It goes by fast. It goes by fast.
Yes.
We're just trying to unlock some stretch goals. 25 backers, unlocks a stretch goal. So make sure you get on there. Let's unlock those goals and get some more stuff.
Yes. We want some more. We want some more. We want some more.
That's right. That's right. Oh,
yeah.
One last thing under indie news tonight at 9 p.m.
Oh, word.
We are going to be on Philip Buzzard's show. We will be on
I meant that. I meant that.
Chatting live.
Yes.
Chatting live. Philip Buzzard, very good friend of the show. We had him on a few months, maybe a couple of weeks back, a month back. It just flies. And he's returned the favor. We're going to be on his show, Creator Con Q&A, tonight at 9 p.m. We are episode 105, so make sure you go to Creator Con Q&A.
Yes,
and
la
check it
la
out.
la 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 tonight.
That's right. Subscribe to the channel. If you go to our social media channels, we have the information on there. If you go to Creator Con event on Instagram and you hit the link in the bio, it'll take you to the show itself.
So it's a big few weeks. So your boy, the crazy man, he reached out and went onto the top of the roof and shouted out hooty hoo, and looking for podcasters to show me some love. And some of you podcasters out there did respond. Some of you gave me the cold shoulder, but that's okay. I wiped away the tears. But for those of you who responded, so I just want to give you guys a little insight into the road show that's coming down. So I already was on Indie Printers Back a Shot. That was a great show. I got 2 pledges from that show. It was fun. Anytime someone pledged to a campaign, we all had to take shots. So my drink of choice was Absolute Vodka. Tonight we're going to be on CreatorCon. Then on the 25th, I'll be on Ray Felix's podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the 26th, Monday Madness. I think it's with Pops Van Zant, and that's July 26th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then the 27th, Rusks Explode, 8 p.m. Central, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then on the 23rd will be on the Creators Outlet podcast. I missed the 23rd. How'd that happen? So the 23rd, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to have a return show. I hooked my boy up with a commission sketch card. And then July 28th, we're going to end up the tour with Get in Tune. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So shout out to all of those fantastic podcasters, creators, for showing your boys some love. Much appreciated. Thank you for helping me promote and pimp Forbidden. It's we have a platform, but we don't. It's always great to network with everybody and expand your reach. So thank you all so much for the love.
Yeah, and big shout out to the Nerds of the Round who also extended an invitation tonight at 9 p.m. But there was a conflict of interest. We're obviously going to be on Philip Russell's show tonight, so we couldn't be on the Nerds of the Round. But their show will be on tonight also at 9 p.m. as they always do on Tuesdays.
Yes.
So give them a follow, give them a subscription to their YouTube channel. They're growing and they're trying to grow.
Yes.
So support your independence, everything, artists, podcasters, bands, musicians, whatever. Just support the arts is very important.
Yes.
We're all trying to make it happen. So it's important that we help each other out. There's enough room in here for everybody. So check that out. Yeah. So that's it's happening, man. You got a lot going on this month.
And in between all that, I'm packing. So
yeah, there's some packing going on.
And getting ready for the big move. Cross country all the way to Texas. So trying to get all that stuff going and preparing for EternalCon. So I'm working on some paints and canvas and wood art for EternalCon. And so while making sure I have all of my animals' health certificates for their travel, contacting all the people I need to contact for the change of address and all that stuff. So I'm going to go down to one phone. So, for those of you who are watching and who have two different phone numbers, I'll hit you up and I'll let you know which phone that you'll be able to contact me with, because I'm going down to one phone. As a brokepreneur, life is real. So I can't be walking around pimping anymore with 2 phones. I got to use one now. But
welcome back to the normal people. I only have one phone. Who has 2 phones? What's going on with 2 phones?
George, you never had one phone.
I have one.
You never had one phone.
This is it.
Huh?
I got one phone.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
I got one phone. This guy, you crazy. Crazy.
That's right.
Oh, you crazy.
Yeah, that is right.
Oh, speaking of Steve Harvey, as I'm packing, it's funny. I have a 4 shelf bookcase, and 6 boxes was just 2 bookcases. 2 shelves of books. What's up, Gilly in the house? Gilly.
What's up, Gil?
Yeah, so I'm packing 6 boxes with just 2 shelves of my books. And I still have 2 more shelves of books. So that's another 6 boxes right there. 12 boxes just for 1 bookcase. And I have to pack all those action figures and and then have to unpack them all. The horror. But yes, but so I think EternalCon will probably be my last con for the year. I wanted to do Fan Expo in Dallas, Texas. I can't do it in September. It's too close, and there's too many variables. Because I still have to put my house on the market once I close on the other house, which is a week from now. And I won't be able to do another show. If there's a show in Texas in December, I'll probably do it. But it would have to be local, something where I could just drive to. But I think that'll be it for me this year as far as cons, which sucks. It was a blessing that New York Comic Con gave me the boot. They said, no, get out of here. They said, but we can sell you a small press booth. I said, no, get out of here. No, it's not going to happen. So, but yeah, that's it. But next year, we're planning for next year, and we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, next year, man. Next year, we were talking about if we can get into San Diego Con, to get in there with a couple of our buddies and friends, and just split a big area and just go out there and have some fun in San Diego. That'll be great.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing next year. I think ZoloCon made its way to the list for next year after the success that we found this year. So that's going to be on the list. I definitely would love to go down to MegaCon in Florida. Would love to do some of those conventions. You being out in the middle of the country now, you it's like a hub, so you'll be able to go either way.
Anyways.
Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be different. But yeah, no, it was good, man. It was a good experience. It's nice to be back. PowCon was like just like a little warm up. This really got it going, and now hopefully EternalCon looks like it's gonna be.
It looks like it's gonna be dope, and
pretty good show.
True story about ZoloCon. Well, the only communication I got from ZoloCon was the receipt for my table. Nothing else. So I didn't get like table assignment numbers. My name's not on the website. Nothing, right? And the website's very generic. So I'm like, I hope I don't show up and like we don't have you listed, So I'm like, So I'm trying to reach out to them, and I got somebody to the Facebook page. So when I show up, there's an older couple, and they pull out this big, giant, must be like 3 feet by 4 foot piece of paper. It's almost like what the architects would use when they're doing the schematics.
Blueprint.
Yeah, the blueprints, those big giant. So in pencil, they drew out the entire venue, and all the tables are done in pencil, and the names of the vendors and creators. So they go like a scroll, and they're going through it, and they found my.
But she knew my name. I said, my name is Samuel, and she's like, Vera. I was like, wow, you know who I is? I didn't think you did because my name's not on the site. And so they showed me to my table, which I loved because it was an access point. I had a direct aisle straight to my
table and 2 aisles this way, so it was a great spot. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, it was good, man. And then just the history of that place is awesome. The fact that what happened in that place, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. But that's awesome, man. It's a good spot. So we're definitely gonna go back to it next year. Usually it's in February.
March.
Right? No, well, next year it'll be March, but
Yeah.
usually it's in February. It's a February show that they moved to July because of the pandemic. And next year it sounds like it's going to be in March. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
most likely, I'll do that one in March if there's not a blizzard. So that'll be dope. Come down, but I'm not going to stay at the Roach Motel this time.
Dude.
That was
terrible.
that was special.
Yeah. That was bad.
That was-
I still feel bad.
It was special. We were being attacked by bugs and mosquitoes. Then it was fitting that the sky just opened up and demons were flying and hail, and it was just like, oh
It
damn,
was bananas. It was
damn,
bananas.
this beat is bananas. BANANAS. It was just crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was. Yes, it was. But enough about us. Today we have Mr. W.R. Peden, or William Peden, who is the author, creator of Heel Turn #1.
Word.
If you guys go to his Kickstarter, you will see that
Yes.
Heel #0 is actually on the site there. If you click the link, it'll take you to download the free Heel Turn #0 PDF,
Right.
so you can kind of get the prequel to the #1 issue. So he's gonna be on the show to talk about that. And so I'm looking forward to speaking with him, where a pro wrestler meets Dexter, or pro wrestling meets Dexter.
Yes.
So what happens when you have an independent pro wrestler who is also a serial killer?
Yes.
That's the premise of his story, and we're going to talk to him about that. But
Yes.
yeah, that sounds interesting.
In fact,
That
I'm
sounds
gonna
like an
I'm gonna
interesting
put his
concept.
link in the chat, so you guys can check out his
Yeah, so
Kickstarter. There it is.
that's
What
right.
the hell was that? Que paso?
I don't know. ¿Qué pasó, brother? Yeah, how funny was it that last week? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago when we were in the studio with the guys? As soon as we logged off,
The
lights
power
went
went out. Yes.
Yeah,
Turn
the
out the
power just
spotlight.
went all out. That was crazy, and we knew it was gonna happen. It was too
Oh,
hot. And
well, we were out at
we knew it was gonna
ZoloCon.
happen.
It went out again on my wife. So when I came, so she was out of Wi-Fi that whole weekend.
Damn.
The washer and dryer didn't work that whole weekend.
She was out.
Yes, so the washer and dryer is not working the weekend. Everything, none of the Wi-Fi is working. So I had to come back home. I had to disconnect all the repeaters, the access points, and reset them and recalibrate my router. And then I had to reset all of the breakers and all that stuff to get everything going. It took me about 2 hours. I was pissed.
Jesus.
Yeah,
that's not fun, bro.
So right now I'm not on 5G. I'm on 2G. I didn't have time. It would take me another 2 hours to set up my 5G. I was like, I'm not doing that right now.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Wow.
But yes, so heel turn.
That was crazy.
Heel
that
turn.
happened.
He has 6 days left in his
Yes.
campaign, and he's got 1320 in, 50. He's got like quite a bit of backers. So, which is
I
pretty
think
dope.
he actually just got a backer. I think. Well, maybe what we.
Yes,
were
he
on
did
right now.
because he's at 59 now.
Yeah, he's at 59. Good for him. There you go.
There you go.
It's working. Will's working. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. I mean, you pledge to the Kickstarter.
Unknown caller.
In fact, I think our guest is on the line. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Catch the Craze. Hello there. Oh, hold on. I gotta put him on Roadcaster. Catch the Craze.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just trying to get back home.
Cool in the gang. Hold on, let me just hide this. So yeah, so we have so we're doing something different today. We have Will on the phone. That's gonna be fun. So Will, tell us that. Well, you're on the phone with me and George the Dreamer Medina.
What's going on, Will? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Just running a little behind from work. So.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Hey, that's the life of an independent artist, right? We have the 9 to 5s, and then we do this because we love to do it. But so you're driving home now?
Yeah, I'm driving home. I got this podcast I'm doing, and then I've got axe throwing lead tonight. I do competitive axe throwing.
Axe throwing. Whoa!
Wow,
I got a
look
duck.
at that. so Will, tell the audience who's listening to you right now, and this is Will Peden. He's the creator of Heel Turn #1 that's on Kickstarter right now. Tell our audience a little bit about who William is.
So I've always been a avid fan of professional wrestling since as long as I can remember, and I've always been a writer. I started writing back with the MSN groups. They used to have e-federations using MSN groups, which are no longer around and ain't been around for a while. But that's where I started getting my writing skills in school, doing role-playing games, but I used professional wrestling role-playing where everybody else was doing D&D and that style. Well, I started doing that. That's also where I developed my love for graphic design, designed a bunch of banners and different things like that. Worked my way into behind the scenes with some independent wrestlers. Got my way into working with the National Wrestling Alliance under the ownership of Bruce Clark. Bruce is the one that sold it to Billy Corgan, who's the current owner of the National Wrestling Alliance. And just kind of mostly did graphic design. When I was at the National Wrestling Alliance, I was the creator, layout designer for the NWA Ringside magazine, and I did a lot of that. I wrote a couple of articles here and there, and just love professional wrestling. Well, after I left the National Wrestling Alliance due to some personal issues, I went ahead and just kind of sat on the back burner and decided to write a zombie novel. Self-published it. I actually tried on Kickstarter. I failed epically. I was worse off than I am now. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just kind of found this platform and pushed it. Didn't even know what I was doing. I've learned more this time around before launching and since launching than I ever did on that other one. But that book, again, was 100% done. I just went ahead and released it after the Kickstarter failed and just did indie publishing through Amazon. And it done pretty well. And I came up with this idea for a independent professional wrestler that moonlights as a serial killer. I was going to do it as a novel. I wrote it down just like everybody else has ever done any kind of writing. You get all these random ideas, so you just kind of jot them on down, and you might come back to it on the back burner. You might not. But this one sat on the back burner probably a good 7 years, and sat on the back burner, and I didn't do anything with it. Then one day I was looking through Kickstarter, funded a couple of squared wrestling comics that they had out, and then looked up the artist and writer, and as I said, the rest is history. I became an indie comic fan. I grew up with like regular Marvel and DC, but I was never a huge comic reader. I love the pictures, but I have reading disorders and things like that, and being bipolar makes it very difficult to kind of focus a lot of times. So I started doing that. Then when I found indie comics, I just fell in love with more of the just like independent wrestling. I prefer independent wrestling over mainstream, although I also watch mainstream. I just like the independent style more because, to me, even though you get there, there's more passion in independence. I mean, no matter what, you see the passion in the art, you see the passion in the writing, and I love to support those with passion. So I decided to make my own comic and mixed wrestling and murder, and we're about I think we're right at 5 days. Monday the 26th is our end date for our Kickstarter, and we're just over $600 away from being funded.
Yeah, no, it looks like you're having a much better run than you did your first time around. But I guess you learned from that and then you move forward. I was interesting to hear about your beginning, right? So you started writing this novel, which Soldiers of Zed. Now I did read in your bio that you're a U.S. Marine and you were in the armed forces, and thank you for your service. Was the book that you wrote, Soldiers of Zed, was that inspired by some of the, by just your involvement in the military?
So to speak, I like zombie fans. I'm a big zombie fan. Walking Dead. I was for a while, and then it just kind of fell away to the wayside. But I've always liked the zombie style, the supernatural, but on the horror side. And what I did when I wrote Soldiers of Zed is the character I kind of loosely based off of my history. Obviously, the description of the character doesn't fit me, but the background, the military background, his knowledge, things he uses to survive, survival training instinct, the family that he uses in that book, that is all was based around my real life. Obviously, the names have been changed to protect the guilty, but I kind of modeled it around my experiences, lifestyle, and more of a what if. If the zombie war apocalypse were to happen, this is what happened. And actually, that one was wrote the directions, and you could essentially, if you were from the area, Lebanon, Missouri, it's a real town, real area. If you followed the book, you could kind of actually essentially take a road trip across the map around the way that he went in the book. So I kind of used real roads, real directions. Like you could literally write out the directions that he follows and make a whole little road tour to go to these different places that he visited in the book. It was supposed to be a book 2, and then again, personal life happened. I wound up going through a divorce and kind of put it on the back burner. I'm actually thinking about re-scripting it and turning it into a comic book.
Nice. Yeah, no, that sounds good. Do you find between the two writing genres, do you find one easier than the other?
Yes and no. Yes, I find script writing easier in my opinion. However, they kind of go side and side because the one thing about the novels is you have no art to back that up. So you have to describe in words what everything's going to look like so the reader can see it. The difference is, to me, I'm writing the script. I'm still using those exact same words, the same description, but that's so my artist can then depict what I'm doing. So to me, the script writing is a little bit easier because I don't have to necessarily, on my dialogue, once we have the character designed, I don't have to necessarily say everything he's doing. I can just put little notes in, mannerisms, things of that nature, sound effects, where in a novel, you don't really get a lot of the sound effects. You can put it in there, but it doesn't have the same meaning. You know, me reading it one way, you could read it a whole nother way. Whereas in a comic, depending on how your letterer sets it up, I mean, your letterer can make or break that sound effect on getting the point across.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. Yeah, no, I love the fact that you use a lot of what you're into in your writing, which includes the independent wrestling, which is awesome. But growing up, were you into, like, I mean, you tell me what era of wrestling you grew up. Who were some of your wrestlers that you enjoyed as you were growing up?
So I'm 34 now. I was born in '87, so I was '90s Attitude Era, the launch of the Attitude Era and on. I've always been a huge fan. The Undertaker and Sting were my go-to fans. I always loved Rey Mysterio from the WCW days, the Cruiserweight division. I eventually started when Jericho started coming to WWE. I didn't like him in Cruiserweight, but when he started getting a little bit more mainstream, I started liking Chris Jericho, and I'm loving what he's doing with AEW, taking that locker room leader's role, so to speak, and just bringing everything to life and connecting the old generation, the new generation, and things like that. But Attitude Era is where I grew up. Now, I obviously knew enough about the 80s, the territory days, and I love wrestling enough that I started reading on the history. And then during my days with the National Wrestling Alliance, I got to meet a lot of these. They were legends at my time growing up watching TV, let alone what they are now. But I mean, obviously not in prime, but I got to meet. I've done road trips with beautiful Bobby Eaton. I was his chauffeur around for a few places, and I got to meet, guys like Ricky Morton, Jim Cornette, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics. I got to meet all sorts of people, which it was awesome to get to do all that. And I miss it. But the other cool thing is, with most of this was with my graphic design, not my writing. But I got to work with a lot of these guys when they were independents that are now, they are current stars on WWE and AEW. So, I mean, I got to see these guys grow up, and like I say with indie comics, you got to start somewhere, and eventually, hopefully you can make it to mainstream. Even if you make it like an AEW company, it's mainstream, but it started as an independent, just independent with money.
Yeah, no, it's funny how when you think about it, when you think of wrestling, it mirrors comics a lot, as far as like the independents that make it big. Like, it's almost like some of the independent companies that are out there now, you can say, are similar to Arcadia or IDW and things like that, those kind of comic book companies. So there's a mirror there. I do love what you've done with you talk about your graphic design work, and I do love the what you did with the logo on Heel Turn. You designed that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so there was a couple different things I did. We had numerous different mock-ups. I did the graphic design of the logo, and then I sent it to my artist, which Rios, this is his first sequential art piece in comic. This is his introduction in the sequential art comic. But Rios works as a marketing guy. He does storyboards and draws for a marketing company in Brazil. And so when I sent him my logo, he took what I did and added some comic twist to it, because I actually had the logo designed, and then he added the blood spatter to it just to make it that much more emphasis, and took it and added a little marketing twist to it. So it's kind of a combination between me and my artist. I had the idea for the backwards E because it's actually kind of an Easter egg. The EE on the Hill Turn, obviously how you spell it, Hill, but it's also the logo, which you can actually see inside of some of the art. Is the logo for Ethan Edwards, which is his wrestling persona gimmick.
Nice.
I do have a question from Gilbert Rodriguez. He says, were you a fan of ECW or Japanese wrestling?
I honestly was a fan of ECW. You can actually see that in the wrestling matches that Ethan goes through in the book. It's more of an extreme style wrestling, scars and things like that. I actually did not even pay attention to New Japan until I started working with the National Wrestling Alliance. I had heard of them. I knew what they did, but I didn't even pay attention to hardly any of their stars. One, growing up, we didn't really have access to them too well. And then until I started working with the National Wrestling Alliance, I didn't realize how much influence they really did. Now I actually enjoy New Japan. But realistically, I was an ECW guy.
Nice. So, I know that you've been in contact with me for a few months, and I know that you pushed your campaign back a little bit. So walk us through that process. Initially, you had a launch date, and then you paused, and then you created a new launch date. What were the reasons for that?
So initially, it was supposed to launch in May. I think it was like somewhere in mid-May. The script was done. The art was about 75-80% done, and the colors were about 25% done. After talking with my team, talking with several other indie guys, one, I was still trying to build a pre-launch. To me, I still think I could have done more than pre-launch, knowing what I know now versus what I did then. I've done a lot better at the back end of the campaign than I did at the first half of the campaign. And that's just an experience. I didn't know what I was really getting into. I thought I did, but I thought I did my research. But until you do it, you learn a lot on the fly with Kickstarter, which I'm glad. I'm not going to complain one bit. But after talking with some creators and just my personal feelings on what I back on Kickstarter, I definitely decided, hey, I would rather have my comic book 100% done when I launch versus being partially done, especially not having any other comic books or no name value behind me, right, including my artist or anything like that. So this book is 24 pages, full color. It is 100% complete. The digital copy, we've actually sent out to a couple of people. We've shared on our Facebook and our Twitter, Instagram, a couple of reviews that we've actually had pretty solid reviews from. Done a couple of interviews. Actually have another indie comic source, I believe, is doing an interview that's going to be posted tomorrow for us. And, so the digital copy is completely done. The print copy is ready to go to print. Right. I've actually got proofs out that just haven't come back yet.
Right. So talk about that. You said that you've done more on the back end than you did on the front end. In hindsight, what would you have done differently?
Honestly, even during the pre-launch, I didn't really do shows. I kind of promoted it on Facebook. I didn't really use Twitter because I didn't really understand it. I still don't, but I know it better than I did. I let Rios run the Instagram because he knows Instagram better. And I didn't really use TikTok as much as I'm using now. But I was just basically posting social media and in some groups here and there, promoting it out there a little bit, and I was building my mailing list. But getting on shows, even during the pre-launch, I really should have been trying to book some of these shows. I know some shows only do it during live campaigns, but there's other shows such as you guys that would definitely talk about, where I come from, what the book is about, what we can do, what we have already done prior to launching, things of that nature. So getting out there a lot more than I did prior to. Lining up comic reviewers so that way when we launched, since we were 100% done, I could have had these reviewers already ready to go. So either before launch or right after the launch, they could have been posting out and sharing that much more. Meeting other indie comic guys. I had added a few and talked to mostly artists, obviously looking for it, and then just meeting some that liked our art. But I didn't really hang out or really chat with or interact with too many creators, the writers and guys that have run their own campaigns, pick their brain. You guys I have, obviously, I backed your first book and loved it and stuff like that. And that's how it was one of the ones I actually kind of liked the idea and was looking at your quality, and I followed you guys and then your podcast and seeing what you guys were doing with that. And I just dropped the ball on the promotion side of what I thought was working. in hindsight really was not working to the extent that it could have for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, George could attest to it. I mean, it is. We're constantly learning from the experience. You know, we're novices as well. Where there's our fourth campaign, but every time, you know, it's just as stressful, and there's always something to learn from it. So, as long as you're learning from it and adjusting, that's the best thing that we can recommend. Is just constantly just be observant. You know, be a sponge and learn from others, and you know.
You know, it's funny. Well, you said that you pledged to our Kickstarter, and thank you very much for the support, brother. I really appreciate that. And I knew your name seemed familiar, man. I'm like, why does his name sound so familiar? And I remember obviously seeing it on the backer list. I'm like, holy cow, that's what it is. It just came full circle right now. We really appreciate your support, though. Thank you very much, bud.
Yes.
Yeah, I was one of your physical backers. I think it was one of your lower levels. I have a physical floppy where I'm on the thank you page and all that stuff.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I'm glad you've learned a lot from like your past experience on the Kickstarter, and you're applying it, because I think that's the most important thing, is applying everything that you've learned. Now, are you planning another Kickstarter after this for this book, or are you doing another Kickstarter for some of your other books, or what are you doing? What's the plan?
So the idea is, the hope is still out there, and I'm not going to slow down until the very end. I've only got, like I said, less than $700 being funded. It is still feasible. I'm not going to give up hope until until the last second runs out, because you never know. I still think it's possible. I've got you guys lined up. I've got a couple other shows lined up. So it's definitely possible out there. No matter what, this book is 100% done. So if it happens to not fund, I've obviously got 59 backers currently that are, supporting me. So I will send out to those guys. I'll probably I'll probably take a minute, a week or two, regroup, try to figure out some other rewards, figure out what I did wrong on this. And I'll probably move it over to Indiegogo since this comic is done. And I'll probably just move it over to Indiegogo, get it launched over there so we can get funding with our, digital rewards, physical rewards, things of that nature. I've almost finished with script 2, so I can get it to Rio so we can get the art started on that one, because I'm hoping to get number 2 out by the end of the year for sure. At least, maybe not out in hand, but at least on crowdsource. But I haven't decided 100% if I'm going to Indiegogo or Kickstarter, but I'm probably leaning towards at least going back to Indiegogo for this first one. And then when 2's done, I'll probably do a combo 1 and 2 on Kickstarter again.
Yeah, solid plan. Good plan, man. Good plan. But before we haven't even talked about what the book is about. So we know that it's, and we gave like a little quick premise. It's like a serial killer who's an independent wrestler. But tell us a little bit more about the story and how you came up with the story, other than obviously your influences. But what sparked the idea?
Honestly, it sparked the idea because they're constantly being on the road between being military, and then when I was following the independent wrestling scene, doing the National Wrestling Alliance thing, seeing these guys always on the road on the weekends, and they work normal jobs just like us. They work their 9 to 5s or whatever, and then on Thursday, Fridays, they are sometimes Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. They're in different towns, sometimes 200-300 miles away, on the same day or even the next day, entertaining a variety of fans, trying to build their name. So I seen that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I can definitely show behind the scenes a little bit, open the curtain. Kayfabe's no longer around, so you don't have to worry about the forbidden kayfabe. But I went ahead and I was like, okay, I can show the wrestling side. I was like, but there's so many wrestling novels out there that are doing so well because of the name value attached to them. So people know about wrestling. I was like, that's fine. But I was like, what if you had a serial killer? I was like, serial killers, there's a variety of different styles. And, a wrestler has that perfect opportunity. They're in different towns every night. 90% of the people in town do not know who this person is. They might recognize them on the show, but unless they're there all the time, they probably have no idea who this person is, realistically. My character, he wrestles under a mask, so you really don't know who he is unless you're behind the scenes. And he does extreme wrestling, so you don't really know if the marks are, you naturally assume 100% of his marks are from his wrestling past. Whether they are or not, that's for you to decide in the story, and you'll see different things. But that's why I went ahead and went that way. During my research, I found out there was actually a wrestler out of Mexico who was a true independent wrestling serial killer.
Wow.
It's not the exact same layout that I did. Obviously, mine's a completely different story. But during research, I found out there was a actual serial killing professional wrestler. It was just kind of one of those happy accidents. I was like, well, happy accidents, so to speak.
Right.
But it's one of those you're like, okay. And then so I made sure to research him a little bit more, what happened, what made him tick, and I added some of those nuances in this. I have lots of wrestling Easter eggs throughout the art of this. If you're a wrestling fan, especially from the 90s, you'll definitely see different characters and different Easter eggs hidden throughout this comic. But it follows Ethan Johnson, who works he's a call center rep for a collection agency. Nobody likes to have that job, but you have to have them.
Right.
I've never met somebody that thoroughly enjoys being a collection agency call center rep. But, so you have this guy, he gets angry doing that. Well, he goes and blows off steam as a professional wrestler. Well, he's also got this twisted sick side that you don't see too often, and those that do see it don't live to see it another day. So he's a twisted serial killer, and the means of his killing are always different, never the same reasoning behind it. It's always some sort of moral code of people that have wronged him or that he has has struck a nerve from his past experiences, which are, without giving away too much of the story arc and stuff like that. I've got the first 6 pages on the Kickstarter right now. The first 6 pages you can scroll through and read. There's a free download button that you download it and look at the first 6 pages. In there's a download button, or you can go to hillturncomic.com and download the free 5-page number 0 origin story. That's Ethan's very first human kill. That's what started the whole serial killer aspect. So if you want to get more into the mind of it, download that free mini comic, read it. Read the first 6 pages, and I hope that would be enough for you to want to pledge and support us. We have a variety of options for digital backers as well as physical. So, anywhere from $5. So we have a independent bundle starting at $15, and then our physical package starts at $20.
All right, cool, dude. I did actually download that preview issue, the issue 0. Yeah, pretty sick. Pretty sick, dude. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that leads to. But is this going to be like an ongoing series, or is it just going to be like a certain number of issues and then you're going to collect it, or what's the plan with the story? Because it sounds like there's a lot of story here.
So the way I write is I write out the storyline, the outline for whether it be the series or at least the book. This one is a 7-book series. I have left room for potential spinoffs for different characters and different points of view for the same story. But it is set for 7 stories, 7 books. The final page of the 7th book is already written. The conclusion is already written and done. I just need to get it drawn. But I've already got every book laid out of what's going to happen to continue that story arc. So not only do you have a story arc in each book, there is an overall story arc for the 7 books too. And the plan is at the end of number 7, we're also going to do a collector or a trade with all 7 in there as well. It's going to be hardback with a custom cover. I've got something special lined up for that cover.
I like that.
Outstanding. You're up to 60 backers now, so that's pretty cool.
That's one more than when I started.
Yeah, there you go. So, he's so funny.
So any things that we didn't cover that you'd like to cover?
Just a few. I know that I posted this out. I posted on TikTok and different things like that. If we can get this thing 100% funded, all physical backer level rewards are higher. Everybody's going to get a free Hill Turn koozie. You can actually go to our Facebook or TikTok. There's a video of me showing what a pink one looks like, but we have a variety of colors. It's going to be the Hill Turn logo on a koozie for your beer, your soda, whatever your drink of choice is. But we're going to give that out. There ain't no stretch goal for it. That is, the stretch goal is get us 100% funded, and all physical backers will get that.
Nice.
We also, like I said, we have the digital bundle. So you can either pay $5 and get our digital copy of our book, or $15, you'll get our book, the number 0, and your choice of 6 out of the list of 15 on our Kickstarter page. Or $30, just get the entire bundle. It's a bunch of indie creators. It's their books. We've got Luke Stone, Rich Parada, JT Malloy, Danny J. Quick. We've got a variety of indie creators out there. Some that currently have campaigns, some that do not. But they're all on there. They have all offered a book or two for this digital bundle to help us out because they love the story. They supported me. And it's just one of those. That's why I like this community is everybody gets together and they're helping each other. It's not just a unfortunate mainstream one size fits all. You're screwed if you don't know anybody.
Yeah, word.
No, I
Word.
agree
Outstanding,
100%.
outstanding. So the link is in the chat, and it's also in the summary. Check out Heel Turn. It definitely looks. I mean, you put in a lot of work, and you can see it. The quality's there. Now your artist, he does the coloring as well.
No, our colorist is Bees Studio. They are some of their other work that you might be familiar with is if you're familiar with the Killer Roo series.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Close from Australia.
Right.
The colorist for the Killer Roo series, that's who is our colorist. It's Bees Studio. Hario is our letterer and our artist. And one of the other things I posted on an update, and it's on the Facebook, but if we have any international fans from South America, Brazil, stuff like that, this book is actually going to be released in English and for digital only at the moment, minus retailers we can discuss, but digital only, a Brazilian Portuguese version as well.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Look
I
at
like
you.
that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, make it move.
And I'm in talks with a Chinese, but we haven't come to terms yet, but I'm in talks with getting it translated to Chinese as well.
Whoa, that's big time.
Big moves. I love it. I love it.
Yes, yes. So, again, thank you, Will, for coming on the show. Again, if you haven't pledged, check it out. The link is in the chat, and it's in the summary. Give it a shot. He's got 5 days left as of right now. So let's get this brother to the finish line. He can do it in 5 days. I know he can. So thank you, Will, for coming on Catch the Craze. We definitely would like to follow up on you when you switch over to the other side and go over to Indiegogo. Just hit us up, and we'll get you back on and help you promote that as well.
No problem. And just one last thing, you can find us, obviously, they got the link Kickstarter. It's ink.pub/Hillturn. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Hillturn Comic.
Outstanding.
Just find us on there, message us, share us, tweet us. If you already back us, tell your friends, have them tell their friends.
There you go.
Yeah,
Outstanding.
you gotta
Again,
share
thank
it,
you
gotta
again,
share
Will, and we'll be catching up soon.
All right, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me call in.
You got it. Drive safe.
Take care. Well,
Thanks.
Peace.
all right, bud.
So that was Will. And then, it's been a while since we've done a phone interview. It's been, we started out when we came back with the phone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's been a while.
so, yeah, that was Will. Check out Hill Turn. I mean, he put in a lot of work. He does take it seriously, and I can tell you that because he and I have been in comunicado for a minute. He was seeking advice from a lot of indies out there, and we were one of them. And so we went back and forth, and I gave him my recommends and my feedback, and really good guy. He served our country. Let's make sure we show some love and support this book. I mean, who doesn't like wrestling? Come on. So and then wrestling is a little psycho. That's even crazier, right? Who doesn't like Halloween or Psycho?
That's awesome, bro.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it's a really good premise.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's up to he's got up to 60 now, which is good. I know when we started looking at it, it was at 58, so that's pretty dope. So let's see. Anything is possible when you dream big, baby.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that he's actually, he's not afraid to say, yo, I made some mistakes and I'm fixing them. And he is, and it shows. I mean, he went from a failed, campaign to being $700, less than $700 away from being funded here, and he's got a $2,000 goal.
It
so,
isn't easy, and
No,
well,
it's
you
not.
know, don't take it to heart. It isn't easy. I mean, we launched Forbidden to a successful 2-day run, and then went stale. You know, so you know,
Yeah.
it's
Can
hard
we-
to understand
Yeah.
how to really master when you don't have that huge fan base. So when you're trying to build that fan, which is why I'm so happy that conventions are back, because you can connect with people and
You can tell them about your campaigns, and you can hopefully build a coalition around you. You know, but it's hard. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. So definitely help him out. Let's fund his project. Pledged if you haven't pledged yet. Get on there, do it. The link is on here. So make sure you get out there to Kickstarter and pledge to his campaign. Thank you guys for watching and listening and
yes,
doing all of that fun stuff. Don't forget that tomorrow we're going to be live and we're going to have the Four Horsemen. Tomorrow we're going to have a fun show because we're going to have a little sketch off between Sam Vera and Mr. Anibal Arroyo. So tomorrow is going to be a good time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some
Crazy.
fun doing that tomorrow. And in about an hour, we are going to be on Creator Con Q&A with Philip Russert. So make sure you tune into that.
yes, and don't forget Forbidden on Kickstarter as well. So we have 15 days left of our campaign, and if you've been waiting, now's the time. If you have issue 0, get issue 1. This is 27 pages of fantastic action, adventure, and drama. You get to find out what happens. Did Sin and Arius get out of the caverns? Did they escape? Did they make it to the surface? And at what cost? What waits for them on the surface? This is where you get to find out and meet some new, interesting characters. It's going to pop off here. It gets better and better. So if you haven't pledged to Forbidden, check it out. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. I mean, if it's good enough for Ernie Hudson and Ghostbusters, it's good enough for you. So come on.
Come on.
Come on. So I am Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
And I am George Jima Medina.
And before we go, thank you, Creators Outlet. Thank you, Gilly Rodriguez. And thank you, Michael Martino. And thank you, Will Peden. We are out.
It's just easy.
It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking?
Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
You're Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.